some new free agency moves here. Probably my favorite one is Justin Reid is signed by the New Orleans Saints from the Kansas City Chiefs. And Justin Reid is a very solid corner in this league, 6'1", 207 pounds, 28 years old. And he comes from the Texans over to the Chiefs, now with the New Orleans Saints, the same exact path that the Honey Badger Tyrann Mathieu took. He's now walking into his third or fourth season, with us, which is crazy enough to think about. And when you look at Justin Reid here, he was actually a overall grade of 77, which was 20th out of 171 safeties in the league. He had 2 interceptions as well, and overall was just a very solid corner. He's won a couple of Super Bowls with the Chiefs, comes from a high-level elite winning organization with Andy Reid running that, with Steve Spagnuolo giving him some of that tutelage. Obviously, you have Brandon Staley as our new defensive coordinator as well. And Justin Reid grades at a 76, which is 31st out of those 171 safeties for run defense grade. And then his coverage grade is elite, 12th in the league at 77.4, again, out of 171 safeties. He was 7th in pass rush snaps for safeties with 45. He was 7th in stops for safeties with 32 as well. 27th in pass breakups, 19th in total pressures, 7th in receptions allowed with only 44. And he only had 8 missed tackles as well. So this guy is someone who knows his assignments, knows his coverages, gets his players on the ground when it comes time to tackling them, and overall is that veteran leader. And I think him and Tyrann Mathieu are going to be kind of a slept-on not wide receiver. They're going to be locking up wide receivers. They're going to be a slept-on safety duo/tandem in the NFL. It's great. Alontae Taylor, Kool-Aid McKinstry, if only we still had a Debo and Lattimore. Now we got Justin Reid and Honey Badger. And again, Reid and Honey Badger have played together before, and Justin Reid actually replaced Honey Badger when he came over to the New Orleans Saints just a couple of seasons ago, and now they are going to be on the same team. Isaac Yiadom comes back to us. Yiadom, however you want to pronounce his name, he comes back to us. He was with the he went to the Niners, correct? Yeah, he went to the Niners. Now he's back. Before he came to us the prior season, he was with the Denver Broncos. Now going over to the Niners, he didn't look very good. He didn't look very good at all. He's 29 years old now. He had a 59 overall grade, which is 129th out of 223 corners as well. A 55 coverage grade, which is 152nd out of 223 quarters. Did have a solid run defense grade at 76, which he came in at 34th there. So it's very rough to see how he had that fall off as a Kansas City Chief. Of course, it kind of makes me feel happy as a New Orleans Saint that thank God we didn't have another Trey Hendrickson, Caden Ellis, Zach Bond, CJ Gardner-Johnson leave us and go win a championship, go be in Defensive Player of the Year votings like we saw with a couple of those players I just mentioned. And I think a lot of that with Yiadom last year was the fact that the Niners were so beat up defensively. And I think he's going to come back with the Saints and really be solid as this corner for us, because he played some great football with us. I mean, at one point in the league, he had the most pass breakups as a corner for the Saints. He had a forced fumble last year, which is very solid. But when you start to dig into some of the deeper numbers as well, he just doesn't have really a whole lot of production. And a lot of that was because of how injured the Niners were last year. But I think that's going to change. I think Yiadom is actually going to be really solid. Brandon Staley, I want to say, was the defensive coordinator for the Broncos in 2020. Yiadom was over there with him at the time, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. Marquez Valdez-Scantling and MVS for short did end up going to the Seattle Seahawks. Really hated to lose him. He was a wide receiver that was starting to come around some. The relationship that he was building with Derek Carr was very solid. And I don't know if you guys have seen, but outside of last season, MVS has been an MVP magnet because every quarterback he's played with over the last 5 or 6 years, now a lot of that is Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, he was helping them win MVP. I'm going to miss the veteran leadership from MVS. I'm just going to miss the health and the actual body from MVS, since we know that Chris Olave is not a very healthy, reliable, durable wide receiver one when it comes time to being durable more than anything. We know that he can be a reliable receiver. And then Rashid Shaheed coming off injury as well. So I would have loved to see MVS back to build a further relationship with Derek Carr, as much as I might not want him as my quarterback on this team. It is what it is. We did sign Jonah Williams from the Lions. I think that's what I was mentioning here, is Brandon Staley actually coached up Jonah Williams when he was with a previous team. So there is a connection there, but Jonah Williams does not have very good grades when it comes to PFF. And, overall, I don't think he's going to be much of a needle mover, but he does have that relationship with Brandon Staley. We do bring in Jack Stoll from the Eagles, who is mainly a run blocking tight end, but, TJ Paganetti, who we got from the Eagles, and then also Kellen Moore actually worked alongside Jack Stoll over in Philadelphia. So there is going to be some relationship there. Again, I don't think it's a big needle mover. Gumsmack and Mick, our GM, did say that we were going to go and sign a couple of tight ends. We stupidly re-signed Juwan Johnson to almost at a 10-year, $30 million deal. That would be insulting. To a 3-year, $30 million deal. I'm over the prototype tight end, wide receiver, Timu pass catcher that we have in Juwan Johnson. And I'm not looking to insult the guy whatsoever, but he is not a solid player in our offensive scheme. And Mick said we were going to go out and sign 2 tight ends. We brought back Juwan horribly, and we went and got Jack Stoll. So thank you, Mick. That probably takes Tyler Warren off the table, or another tight end that we would maybe want to have. Will Clapp comes back over. Not the greatest offensive lineman in the league. Maybe he could provide something for us, but again, not a real needle mover there. And then we tried to make a run at Charvarius Ward, which I really do appreciate, because Charvarius, before last season, was one of the better corners in the league. You heard me talk about it multiple times on the show. And then we're rumored to be in play for Dallas Goedert and potentially Brandon Cooks as well. We actually drafted Brandon Cooks back in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, with our first round pick. Hated that we actually moved off of him, because once he went to the Rams, got traded to the Texans, to the Cowboys, the record amount of trades that Brandon Cooks has had. He just wasn't the same wide receiver as he was with the Saints. And then I would absolutely love if we were able to actually have a chance at Dallas Goedert. I don't really see that happening, but if we were able to make that happen, I think it's really great, because, it's more than likely not going to happen again because of Jack Stoll, because of Juwan Johnson, but Dallas Goedert would make a great relationship with our quarterback and Derek Carr, provide us a weapon on offense to where we can really get some of these things moving along to become more effective offensively. And with Kellen Moore working with him in the past season, with Kellen Moore being our new head coach, with Kellen Moore calling plays, going to have the offense performing at a high level, hopefully, it would be great to have Dallas Goedert within the mix.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.